Santa is Coming to Australia. Written by Steve Smallman, illustrated by Robert Dunn. Well, Boom Santa, have all the children from Australia been good this year? Well, mostly, answered the little old elf, as he bustled across the busy workshop to Santa's desk. Santa peered down at the elf from behind the door, tearing piles of letters that the children of Australia had sent him. Mostly, asked Santa, looked over the top of his glasses. Yes, but they all been especially good in the few days, said the elf. Jolly good, shocked Santa. Then we'll better get their presents loaded up. Even thought the sack of presents was really big, and the elves were really small. They seemed to have no trouble loading it onto Santa's sled. Thought how they managed to fit such a big sack into one little sled. Even they didn't know, but somehow they did. Splendid, boomed Santa. We're ready to go. Not quite, Santa, said the little old elf. One of our reindeer is missing. Missing? Which reindeer is missing? Asked Santa. The youngest one, Santa, said the elf. It's his first flight tonight. I've called him and called him, but just then a young reindeer strolled up, munching on a large carrot. Where have you been? Asked Santa. But the youngest reindeer was crunching so loudly that it was no wonder he hadn't heard the little old elf calling. Oh, well, never mind, said Santa, giving the reindeer a little wink. He took out his Santa map and tapped in the coordinates for Australia. This will get us to Australia in no time. Crunch, crunch, crunch. With a flick of the reins and a jerk of the harness, off they went, racing through the sky. Ho, 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 laughed Santa. We'll soon have these presents delivered to every little house. Santa's sleigh flew through the starry night heading south. Only flew as the crisp, wintry night turned to daylight. In the wink of an eye, the sleigh crossed over the equator and headed down under. The youngest reindeer was very excited. He had never been away from the North Pole before. They had just crossed the coast in the Kimberley when suddenly they ran into a thick cloud. They couldn't see a thing. The youngest reindeer was getting a bit worried, but Santa didn't seem worried at all. In 2 kilometers, said the Santa Naf in a bossy lady's voice. Keep left at the next star. But, madam, Santa blustered, I can't see any star in all this cloud. Soon they were hopelessly lost. Bong, bong, bong. Then through the heavy cloud, the youngest reindeer heard a faint chiming sound. Bong, bong. He looked over at the old reindeer with a red nose, but he had his head down. Red nose, I wonder who that could be. Bong, 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 bong. Bong, bong, bong. There was that sound again. Like a clock chiming, the youngest reindeer turned around to look at Santa, but Santa wasn't listening. He seemed to be arguing with a little box with buttons on it. With a flick of the harness and a jerk of the reins, the youngest reindeer gave a sharp tug and head off toward the sound of the bells, pulling Santa and his sleigh behind him. "Wow!" cried Santa, pulling his hat straight. "What's going on?" Then, to his surprise, he heard the chiming sound. "Well done, young reindeer!" he shouted cheerfully. "It must be the bell tower in Perth. Don't worry, children, Santa is coming." Then suddenly, crunch! The sleigh hit something as it plumped through the ground. "You have arrived," said the Santa unhelpfully. Finally, when the clouds parted, Santa discovered where a rat was, stuck right at the very top of Central Park Tower. "Everybody, pull!" The reindeer pulled with all their might until at last, with a screeching noise, the sleigh scraped clear of the tower, and Santa steered them safely over the Swan River, past the town hall, until he could stop safely in King Park. Luckily, there was no damage done, but the package had all been jumbled up. Santa quickly sorted the present into order again. "All right," said Santa. "Thanks to this young reindeer, I know where we are now. Don't worry, children, Santa is coming." Santa drove his sleigh expertly from rooftop to rooftop all over Australia, popping in and out of chimneys as fast as he could go, which was pretty fast for a chubby fellow. It didn't matter how big the chimney were, or even if the home had a chimney. Santa worked at the speed of lightning, placing presents under every Christmas tree. The youngest reindeer was amazed at how quickly they went. Santa never seemed to get tired at all, and it looked like the children in Australia were going to be very lucky this year. But the youngest reindeer was starting to feel a bit weary and quite hungry too. In house after house, Santa delved inside his sack for packages of every shape and size. He piled them under the Christmas trees and carefully filled up the stockings with surprises. In house after house, the good children of Australia had left out a plate of cookies, a small glass of milk, and a big crunchy carrot. Santa took a little bit out of each cookie, a tiny sip of milk, whipped his bread, and popped carrots into his sack. Australia is a big country, so Santa spent from Perth to Adelaide, up to Alice Springs, then on to Melbourne, making sure he didn't forget Tasmania. He then headed north to Canberra, Sydney, Brisbane, and Cairns, finally ending up in Darwin. Santa and his sled visited every house in Australia. Santa delivered presents to Andrew, Alison, Anna, Arabella, Archie, Ashley. The list went on and on. Zach, Zara, Zeb, Zoe, Zilby. Zilby? That must be a spelling mistake. Surely. Finally, Santa has delivered the last present on his long Australia list. Great moon and stars, sighed Santa. It's nearly morning and my sack seems as heavy as ever. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone. Santa opened his sack to check, but it was full of juicy, crunchy carrots. Santa divided the carrot among all the reindeer. Well done, he said, patting the youngest reindeer gently on the nose. But the youngest reindeer didn't hear him. He was too busy munching. It was time to set off for home. Santa reset his Santa nap once more to the North Pole, and soon they were spinning away for Australia, crossing the equator, over Asia, and through the rapidly approaching dawn. Ho, 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 laughed Santa. Merry Christmas, Australia. The end.